Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 67th edition of Cinema Effect. I'm Zach, and I'm joined by my fellow Hans and my appreciator, Jaden.
G'day.
Salute. And I've never said that in my life, I've just realised, but I've heard it so many times. Yeah, it didn't really, yeah.
No.
And John Cena, a.k.a. Fitzy, a.k.a. Liam.
Hey, Zach. Hi.
Hi, Fitzy. I'm sure you've heard the rumours that, John Cena apparently is returning next week to WWE programming. Does that excite you?
If I'm John Cena, you can't use me in the third. You can't talk about me in the third person, right?
Oh, okay. But I think
dude. You know Fear Street Part 2, Jaden?
Yeah.
That. Oh my god. There's a thing that annoys me so much.
About is it about the names?
Yes.
Yeah.
She explains this. It's impossible. You can't have her explain the story and not have the two kids know who she is. That's impossible to do unless you explain everything in the third person, which is cringe. Why would you do that?
You know how the cat's name is like Major Tom, which is like an indicator that about her actual identity anyway.
Right. No, so we don't know. But
no, but I guess that from the start. I'm telling you right.
I guess it from the start as well. But I'm saying when the kids were like, "Oh, you're her," it's like that makes no sense because she would have to explain. She can't say my sister. She can't say I was here. She has to say, Cindy was here, and then Ziggy was here, and then Cindy did this underground, and then
Well, maybe she just used we's because if she just said we did this, we did that.
But doesn't each character have like a totally separate story?
Yeah, yeah.
Like she used we the whole time. It didn't say my sister or me or I like once,
Yeah.
It's just a small thing, but it annoyed the hell out of me for like hours.
I've seen these on Letterboxd. What are they? They're two movies?
It's a trilogy. I think the last part just came out last night.
Yeah.
Oh, but they've been coming out over like the last few weeks or something.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah, it's an interesting release method. I quite like it.
Yeah. And is this like B level stuff like we're gonna watch next week or?
No,
the poster game.
Not quite. Yeah. They're based off R.L. Stein books from the 90s. But like they're way more violent than I would have thought. I thought this was gonna be like proper PG horror, but like no, this is full on.
But that's next week. This is Cinema Effect.
This
week. Oh, damn it. That's actually that wasn't a good transition. I was like, that would have been good if I were one sentence ahead of where I'm at, but I'm actually at the part where I say this is Cinema Effect, the podcast where we talk about and review a different movie every single Monday. And this week, that movie is Cargo, which opened on Netflix, or released on Netflix, whatever, on the 18th of May, 2018. It was directed by... I think this is the first time, maybe maybe not, I don't know, that we've had co-directors, Ben Howling. Oh, no, it's definitely not, forget it. Ben Howling and Yolanda Ramke? Apologies. It's a zombie film, drama, and the synopsis reads, after an epidemic spreads all over Australia, a father searches for someone willing to protect his daughter.
Sure. Epidemic in Australia. I wonder why that sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's wild. Yeah. It predicted the future. All right. Jen, what did you think about Cargo?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was okay. It's slow and brooding, but it's boring on top of that. It just disinterested me at quite a few points. But I think that it's got a pretty strong emotional core, and I think that there are plot beats that draw you back in every now and then. But I think as a whole, that kind of slow and brooding was too slow.
Yeah, I feel ya. I'll go next if you don't mind, Fitzy. I'm gonna break the conventions here.
I like that. Actually, that's good. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. I thought the movie wasn't very good. I think, it's boring for sure. I think both the narrative and execution was often, at least to me, like awkward and confusing. Like a lot of scenes are just, I feel like they're going for some like crazy action moment or some or not action moment, but some crazy like plot moments. Like, oh shit, did that just happen? And it's just sort of, it's always weird. It comes off strange. But I don't know. There are some technical aspects to appreciate, I think, at least for me. And yeah, it was sort of forgettable, I think. It was a bit of a shame. I think, I don't know, the premise held a lot more hope for me. You know, with it being in Australia, you got Martin Freeman. I love Martin Freeman. You know, I feel like this. I was too. I made a note that he was too lazy to do an Aussie accent. So
Oh, was he not? I thought he was.
no, he definitely wasn't. No, he was
No.
going. He was being old Bilbo up in here. No, but I love him, and yeah, I don't know. The movie just could have been more, in my opinion. But what about you, Fitzy?
Yeah, that was incredibly dull. I was just, I don't know, disengaged the whole time, pretty much. I don't know. It was a serious. I guess it was more of a serious drama, zombie film, and I just didn't connect to the tone. I thought it was like, I don't know, a bit. The tone, I think, was like, I think it was crucial to connect with that, but it was a bit overbearing, I guess, or just kind of, I don't know, not very interesting. I don't know.
No, I agree. I totally agree with that. I think the tone's really weird. It's like, I don't know what it is exactly. Maybe it's just a combination with it being already uninteresting narratively, but just, you know, we've seen zombies so many times, and I feel like, you know, the fact that it's Outback Australia is sort of like a unique thing you can inject into the genre a little bit and create a bit of something to stand up on and differentiate yourself in when you're making this film and the story. But it just, you know, nothing about the zombies was interesting. And
The makeup was.
oh yeah, actually that's fair. Actually, when it was like honey on their face,
Yeah.
it was weird.
That was
I didn't
weird,
really.
yeah. I quite liked it. That was. It's creepy.
It was creepy. I don't know if I liked it though. It was just I didn't dislike it. I don't know. I just thought it was weird. I was like, all right, that's. I guess they're using a different color to try and make it a bit different. I really just can't get over how weird I think some of the movie is. Like this at the start, you know, and they're on the houseboat and everything. Just, I guess the movie does a really bad job for me at like establishing what state the world is in and how concerned I should be. I've just got no idea. Like apparently there's a hospital still. Um, in the world, like when they meet the teacher, she's like, "Oh yeah, my students are fine in the Otways." But the way she said, I don't know if I'm like already nitpicking here, but the way she said it, all these things are adding up. Was like it was a dumb question for thinking they were dead. You know, it was like, oh, Martin Friend's like, I'm so sorry about your students, and she's like, oh no, you dumbass, they're in the Otways. It's like I don't know. And then we meet like the weird family on the side of the road having a birthday party. You know, I'm like, why are they doing that? I just didn't get it. I just had no idea. Like, for all I knew, you could like in this world, you could drive into Melbourne and it would be totally normal. Like, I just didn't. I was like so isolated and within its own little confines of universe it was taking place in that I just didn't get any grasp of how concerned I should really feel. You know, as I'm saying, that sounds like such a Zach thing, so I apologize, but it was weird to me.
It's also
But,
Outback Australia where there's a population of like 4. So I mean,
yeah, right. There's only that many characters in the movie too. The movie does the thing of, you know, that all these apocalypse. It's like it's a formula, right? Like the conventions of you have the protagonist sort of wandering the wasteland here, and they stumble into new people and scenarios, sort of, and that's how the film's sort of broken up. Sort of, I don't know where that would be established. I don't know. Like I know The Road does it, but I don't know if that was the first thing to do it. But they're a family on the boat. Situation arises. He goes out on his own, meets teacher, meets this person, meets that person. You know what I mean? It's sort of that's how these movies are typically structured. But every single person he meets along the way is just uninteresting. You know, like oh, you've got the psycho guy who you think isn't psycho, but he is. You know,
That whole thing was weird with him. He wanted like, he wanted like medals, didn't he? Or like, was that why the film's called Cargo? Because he wanted like, he said he wanted resources for when things were back to normal or something.
I didn't understand his plan. I did not understand it.
He just wanted to be on top when everything became normal. He was trying to monopolize the gas and monopolize precious metals and stuff. It's called cargo because his daughter's the cargo that he has to carry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes some more sense. That's true.
But wait, does this guy really think he can like one dude in the outback can monopolize gas? Like what?
Maybe not monopolize it, but he wants to be ahead when he comes back, and
And
that's
have
why
some
he's trying to get
control
control.
over it.
Yeah,
Fair enough, I guess.
you should be collecting bottle caps instead.
Yeah, you're collecting, cans. If he's in South Australia, you can trade them in for 20 cents. It's crazy.
10 cents, isn't it?
Oh, is it? Yeah, whatever. Either way.
Jeez, 20 cents for a can. Decent.
Yeah, go on. I might start doing it. I'll drive over to Adelaide.
Liam, you've seen the original short film, right?
I think so. What is it?
Well, it's pretty much the same premise instead, but it's just 7 minutes and there's not as many characters.
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, so like neither of you have seen it then. All right. So it's
No.
the short film's infinitely better because it's much more contained, and it's and I think some problems from this movie arise from the fact that you are adapting this material from short to long form, and that you need to fill a lot of space, and like.
I mean, I was going to say the trivia that this film is a full-length feature remake of a short, but, you covered that pretty... Yeah. I hadn't seen the short, I don't believe, but I knew about it somewhere. Like, for some weird reason, when I read that trivia, like, some part of my brain knew that.
It's like
that
Australia's most famous short film. I'm pretty sure like it dominated like Tropfest or like whatever like short film festivals are and stuff.
Yeah.
In like 2013, whenever it came out first and stuff.
Yeah, 2013. So, yeah, I guess I'd heard of it somewhere. And the premise is cool, honestly. Like,
A bit Last of Us.
totally, yeah. But, like, I don't know, but, like, this dude's gonna die. He's got literally a timer on his wrist.
I thought that was a cool plot device.
I thought it was too, but it was just, like, on paper, but, like...
That shows, I think that indicates, because before you were saying you didn't have you're a bit lost on how worried you should be, but I think that gives a good indication like to what stage we're at, the fact that, and like how worried that the population is, because like they do have these resource packages and they do have, they're aware of everything and stuff, so like we should be majorly concerned because they are overrun, but they do have methodology for adapting to it and stuff like that, so I thought that was fine.
That's true, and that does... I guess the status of that improves as the movie goes on. It was just like at the start when they're on the houseboat, Martin Freeman, I don't know, maybe it's meant to be a character arc, I don't know, but he just seems like so chill about everything. Like he doesn't really seem to give a shit. He's just like, oh yeah, we'll be fine, And I sort of believe him because they're fine on this houseboat. And I'm like, all right, well, I guess you're going to be fine. And the only reason that any of this happens is because his wife's a dumbass. It's sort of just weird, And then like, why did she go over to that other boat for a razor blade? Is that what I'm meant to believe? Because
Maybe she was looking for more and just found out and decided that was good enough for the day.
It was so bad because he's like, I'm going to check it out for supplies. All right, fair enough. That's fair. He's careful. I've got no idea why he lied about not like hearing nothing. I guess because he didn't want to worry his wife, but he was already back anyway. So I don't know. It was kind of weird. But he got all the cans. Great. What the hell does she want to go back there for? They have what they need now. They've got the food supplies that she was worried they weren't going to have enough food. He got the food. It's like, yeah, bro, we're chill. And she's like, oh, I'm gonna go back over there for a razor blade. It's like it's that dumb zombie like apocalypse decision making. It really bothers me in films.
Yeah, it makes less sense that she went over there because she was like, when Freeman was talking about how he retrieved the food, she was like really worried. Like she doesn't want to take any risks and like, she's like worried that it was safe or whatever. And then she just goes over there,
Yeah.
Like she's set up as someone who wouldn't do that herself, and then she does it herself.
Yeah, it really made no sense to me. It was bizarre. And when it's literally like kicking off, it's meant to be the inciting event for this film. It's just like, wow. That's what we're doing here, I assume the short probably didn't have enough time to create that bad of a backstory,
I'm pretty sure the short is just him and his daughter, and
Already.
like that's it. Yeah,
I would have preferred that. I don't know. I mean, I guess they felt like that. If they're making a feature, they need to sort of build it out, make sure everything is a backstory. It's like I didn't really give a shit about the wife. I didn't need it, Oh yeah, well, we made fun of Martin Freeman not doing an accent, but. How do we feel about him in the movie? I
Because
liked him.
Swanee was doing an accent at times.
he definitely was.
He definitely was not. No. I mean, British accent, like, it's not that dissimilar. So, like, for certain sentences, I can get that. Like, you can't tell. But no, there was... No. He was not.
Okay.
But in all jokes aside, though, like that's fine. You know, if he doesn't want to do an accent, I think that's fine. He's a British dude who lives here. It's fine by me.
Yeah, I mean, Australia's population is like 50% immigrants. I mean,
That's true. That's true. I don't know. Did you enjoy him in this role, Fitzy? In the trivia, everything I was reading was that everyone really enjoyed working with him on set, which makes perfect sense. You know, he's a well-known actor. He's a professional, obviously. Nothing that he brought to this role captivated me particularly. And I don't know if it's his fault. I don't think it is, but
I'm surprised you described him as calm, though. I thought he was kind of like on the boat. It felt like he never wanted to actually talk about his plans because he was so stressed. I don't know. He seemed like He seemed like he was always kind of like. He seemed like a very serious character. I guess I don't know.
I feel like, is that maybe us reading into it too much? Is it maybe just actually the surface level? No, he's just calm. Like, you know what I mean? Because he's like, I get what you're saying. It sort of comes across like he's trying to act calm, but maybe like it's not any deeper than that. Like he actually just is calm.
but I don't think it was calm either. I think.
Yeah, I'm not like.
Yeah.
I don't know why you thought it was calm.
I'm more with Liam.
Oh, okay. I thought he was pretty calm, to be honest. Like even in his final moments of saying goodbye to his daughter, he was just like.
One thing I thought after I saw the movie was like he was unemotional the whole film, but I think he was kind of repressing his emotions. Like he wasn't tearing up everywhere and like acting all crazy or anything, but he was definitely very strained and trying to keep his emotions like under control. Like he was just trying to be like, solid, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that's something that like I don't know, like Australian stoicism and like kind of like a bit British. Of non. Yeah, but he will say he adapted some of the traits of the land while he's living here. Like there's a
he's got a family. Yeah, here he's been here for a while. That did you connect with his performance at all? As a blanket question,
I didn't, but I think because afterwards I was thinking, is he just doing like a regular, tough guy kind of performance, or is he just like, is he like not emotional in the film because he's like repressing everything, and that's kind of the point that is like, I don't know. I think like during the film, I didn't really connect with him, but I think he was adding something there,
I think for him to end up in this role in this indie film Down Under with him as the only big name, I think he would have had to put some level of thought into his performance and it's like some degree of like actual like thing and just take to that extra step rather than just having that kind of that tough guy thing. I think it's more the second option you're talking about.
Sure. I don't think I like that idea that he's just trying to, as you say, be solid, get through it. He knows the situation he's in, trying to contain that emotionally, but like nothing in this, I don't know, nothing in the story really like made that idea clear to me. Well, that has to be hammered over the head, but I don't know. It was just like, even if you have like, I don't know, one scene where it's like he's sort of by himself or something, and it's sort of clear, like there's something you sort of see. I was
actually gonna say the scene where he's by himself and he's got the needle. Is that like the thing that's gonna kill him or whatever? Yeah. Like I thought that was a moment where it was like kind of, it told you how really lost he really was, because like in that moment you can see that he's kind of like half emotional and half like repressed and he just wants it to be over kind of, so he's kind of like he's fully done with it, he's just like really, because he's still got the baby and everything, so like that's what he has to be tough about. So it's kind of a moment of like a brief like release. I think he's like, I don't know.
That's a good point. I mean, that's basically exactly what I said I wanted. So it's there.
I think there's a franticness about him as well in every other. Like there's always like that little bit of like a rush in his voice or an out of breathness in his delivery. It's like no matter how. That's how I felt. Like no matter how kind of stony he was, I feel like there was that little air of uncertainty, uneasiness, franticness, just kind of type thing, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, there's him, and then there's the other character, the indigenous little girl. What's her name? Tumbi. Tumbi.
I think it's THOOMI. I think it was in the subtitles, but like I swear they said Sumi or something like that.
I thought he was saying Tumbi. Okay, or whatever. Sumi, Tumbi, Thumbi, Thumi. Her. I thought she was pretty solid in the movie, to be honest. She'd apparently never acted in her life, according to the trivia. So I was like, oh, I thought she was pretty good. I thought like all the stuff with her dad was weird. Like it didn't really like the fact that we kept cutting back to it like 80 times. It's like I get it. Like she's following her dad around. It's just sort of I don't know. I get what they're going for. You know, she doesn't want to return home. You can't let go of the dad and all that. So she's like looking after his walking corpse. But it's just I don't know. Like we went back there a few too many times. It was kind of weird. Don't know if that material is particularly interesting. I don't know if I. Maybe you feel differently. I don't know if I really gave a shit about her dad, but I don't know. I thought her performance was solid, and the fact that she took the kid in the end was cool. I don't know. I don't know if I could have wanted anything more from that. Although the end, did anyone else find the? Maybe it was just. I apologize if this is one of the situations where my boredom was seeping in, and I just like missed something. Like, was it weird that she like rode Martin Freeman at the end? Like she jumped on his back, and he's a zombie, and they like walk through the mist.
But like she was holding like the stick in front of him to like so he could follow. I think that was the point.
But why?
So that like I don't know.
It was just sort of weird. I just didn't get it.
I think because like in the short film, like what he does, like when he turns into a zombie, he does that thing where he attaches the stick to his back so he can follow it and he won't eat the baby. So I think maybe that was just.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah. So I think that was just like a. Because like in the short film, I'm pretty sure he turns into a zombie just before the end, so that he has to do, or like at some point, so that he has to follow the stick, and like that becomes like a part of the thing. So I think that bit at the end was kind of referencing the short.
But that makes sense though. So that like he didn't do it in times, but then he can, like he keeps transporting the baby even as a zombie, and then someone else can still pick up the baby.
Yeah,
that's cool. I didn't. In the movie, it was just sort of weird to me. The only thing I could think of is that, which I guess actually no, I guess that did happen, but is that they wanted to like conveniently give his body straight over to her family so they could give him like a proper tree funeral that they want to give. Fitzy, was it weird or not? Or am I nuts?
Wait, what are you talking about?
It felt like the big climax of the movie, like the score builds and they walk through the cloud, the whatever, the fog, the smoke, and she's like riding him on his, riding Martin Freeman. It was just weird. I didn't really. It sort of looked funny. Like the visual is sort of funny.
Yeah, it was a bit funny. He was kind of Martin Freeman was kind of like a bit like confused. Like his zombie character was confused, but
he's a zombie, so yeah.
It was just funny seeing him as a zombie.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I agree.
That was like set up that there's like a bunch of people together in a tribe, right? That's like, is that where they're going, or are they going to the like a hospital thing?
No, the hospital's nothing. The hospital was.
Yeah. The hospital was like at first when the wife was alive, and then the wife died, and then the hospital was out of the equation from that point, I believe.
No, because like once they get to the school, the teacher says the hospital is just like redundant and like it's not even like that good.
It changes then. And then it became like he wants to go back to the river to that other family, right? To that white family?
Well, I think, but doesn't the teacher say go find the magic man that Thumi wants to find?
I thought
if she says that, then why does he not do that?
Because I think he wanted to find someone, take care of his daughter more than he wanted someone to heal him or whatever. Like he was.
So he wanted. So she was recommending to be healed. Oh,
there was a place on the map.
This is weird.
There was a place on the map he wanted to go down. He wanted to go down the river from the start. I don't think he went. He didn't go back to the family. He went back for something specific up there. Like I think it might have been the man or whatever, but I don't know. I think that's where the tribe was, right? Where he went. But that's where
the geography of the film is so confusing. I've got no idea how close anything is. I feel like it was a great opportunity to sort of create this sort of playing into the genre again, but like create this sort of grand adventure of him like trekking across Australia, and it's really defined locations, set distances. Party has to really trek. It's in the when you're watching the film, it sort of just feels like all these places we go, like the crazy man's little hideout where the indigenous tribe is, the river. It sort of all just feels like it's like within like 20 minutes of each other, just in a circle. Like I didn't really, you know what I mean? I didn't get a sense of scale
Well,
from
I
the
think they
journey.
are rather close
That's just weird though. Like why?
because you only have 48 hours because they established that plot device as 48 hours, so they can't
But that's just
afford to track you across Australia.
yeah, it's just weird. I don't know. It's a weird way to create urgency, isn't it? Like have everything so close, and I guess it just goes back to what I was trying to say earlier with the timer. It's like 48 hours. That's cool, but it's not like the film never does anything where it's like, oh, we've only got X amount of time to get here. Are we going to make it? And creates tension that way. It just never does it, and it's especially weird when he makes it to the teacher's place in like from when he was bit in like 2 or 3 hours, I believe, because it was that first night that he's there already.
Mm.
Just like a couple hours. And then she tells him to go back to the river. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's fine. It's like a 3-hour walk. Like, what's the problem, you know? And then, of course, things ensue. But am I making sense?
Yeah, I don't think it was the movie's biggest problem, but I see where you're coming
Oh,
from.
no, I don't think it's the movie's biggest problem either. But it's just, I don't know. I feel like tweaks there can make that more interesting and
Yeah.
build tension. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I guess the tension is supposed to be like whether the baby will survive, but like I feel like the baby's not gonna. They're not gonna have zombies eat a baby.
No.
It's not gonna be an R-rated. Yeah, I don't know.
No.
So it
Totally.
wasn't. The tension wasn't really there, I guess.
No. And no, but I don't think the baby's going to die either. But you can create the tension through the fact of like, is he going to be able to give it to someone in time? Give her to someone in time.
Well, I think that's why the short film was so
Yeah.
good because he doesn't do it in time, but he still he still finishes
Totally.
it off. Yeah.
That idea sounded really cool. I didn't know that. I wonder. Yeah, it's weird they decided to change that. That's actually an interesting
Yeah,
thing to do.
I just feel like because I'm not sure because I can't think of examples now, but isn't it like a kind of common trope where like not trope but like common theme in Hollywood where like people like just movie in the industry and like where like directors trying to adapt their short work they 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 add too much and they lose the core, and I think that's it's beyond evident in this movie, and I think the whole indigenous thing is just I mean there's so many things, but I feel like that kind of added indigenous arc kind of just of like this like I think that kind of added too much again because they added this another element to the movie, you know.
Yeah.
It sounds like the core of the short is very much, the fatherhood instinct of get my daughter to safety at all costs, which leads him to do what he does at the end of that short.
Mm.
I just didn't get that from this very well. So, and with that in mind, the indigenous stuff is actually my favorite elements of the movie, not because it's the most compelling stuff ever, or especially in comparison to the short, but it felt like the most interesting thing that the film was that was making it stand out, especially when with the whole idea being like, Aboriginal communities don't have nearly as much issue, obviously, in zombie apocalypses because they live off the land anyway, and just seeing them take out all these zombies, I like that. I was like, that's something I've never really considered. Like, oh yeah, Indigenous communities would probably like be great in the apocalypse. They'd be like, yeah,
Wait,
this is sick.
was one of them wearing a Saints jersey?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
It
like,
totally was.
yeah.
Yeah, shout out to him.
Wait, but is that something we only saw at the very end there, like the tribe and them like taking out other zombies? Because like that, the indigenous element before that was just I don't know, like the elder figure like in the cage and like the daughter character, which was pretty. I don't know, like was there much of that thing that you're talking about where they like use their
Well,
like skills to survive?
it was going back. It wasn't much of that, I don't think, but there was going back to the dad a bit, and then like to the mom as well, trying to track the daughter, trying to find her.
Yeah. I mean, showing them specifically killing zombies, I believe, was only towards the end. Yeah. They cut back to them a lot, and they're sort of hanging around and they're doing their thing. I just thought that was a neat idea. It makes tons of sense, and like it was sort of jarring at the end. Like, I don't know if in a good or bad way. It's sort of jarring at the end when the baby's Rosie is going to ends up in this community and is going to be taken care of. I'm like, oh, that's great. But like everyone else in that community was like, I guess this is the point that I'm sort of making, but like everyone seemed totally unfazed by the apocalypse. Like everyone's just wearing like normal clothes and shit. You know what I mean? Like you sort of think when you think of like survivors in a post-apocalyptic scenario, you think, I don't know, they're wearing like torn shit and they've been through hell. These dudes were like, we're just going down for a picnic. Like the world's just totally normal for them.
How about that? I can't remember exactly, but like the opening and like the closing like track. Like it was kind of like this like. It was like traditional like indigenous music, but like wasn't it like kind of like it was like they got like some amateur DJ to like produce like a track with like a didgeridoo.
It did. I liked it though. I don't know if you say you liked it.
I thought I liked it because it was different to like our traditional opens up on shot of Arnhem Land with didgeridoo in the background,
Yeah,
like
totally.
like because it was that, but it was that with like a little bit of a twist, and like I didn't mind it, but like it was just it was an interesting choice.
I thought the score overall, with that in mind, I liked that. Yeah, there was totally some didgeridoo mixed in there. I appreciated. I thought the score was good. I liked it.
That was one of the
I did
stronger
enjoy
points.
it. Definitely. One of the other stronger points is that I think the cinematography is really good. I think the film's really well shot and lit. Like everything, like all the opening establishing shots, like to your point, Jane, that is like such a, I hadn't even thought about that. That is such a like typical Screen Australia production. When like the Screen Australia,
Yeah.
when Screen Australia comes up, it's like, oh, okay, this is an Australian production funded by the government. It's like, all right, here we go. And then you can guarantee the first 2 minutes are going to be like wide shot to the outback. Like that's 100% every time. It was the same in The Dry, which is a movie I watched recently too. It's
It was also the exact same in high ground.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
no.
It's
that actually had
yeah.
that girl that the crazy dude kidnapped. She was also in High Ground. I was like,
She was, yeah. No, so yeah, it all connects. But that was hilarious. But with that in mind, though, with it sort of being a convention, I guess that this follows here. I like the way it all looked, though. It looks great. Like, if I shot that shit, if I shot that stuff that they captured, they had some drone footage in there. If I shot that, I'd be very happy with myself. It looked great, and the whole movie looked great, generally speaking. I mean, The Dry looked great too. Not to get on a tangent, but I just think maybe we've got some great cinematographers down here. I think we do because, I mean, as funny as it is that they always capture the outback in the same sort of way, it always looks great. They always do a great job. I'm never like, oh shit, they really they're doing us an injustice there. They always bring their all. So I appreciate that. Is there anything? Vic is this gas hoarding character, right? Vic,
yeah,
was his name? I think. Yeah,
you know
you're
who would have
right.
been great in his role?
Yeah,
Shane Jacobs.
that would have been great.
It,
I love that.
had he been Vic, that would have been banging.
Can you imagine if he was playing Kenny, like in the apocalypse? And he's playing to monopolize the portable toilet game, like for when the world comes back. Oh my god.
Kenny could hold the world together in an apocalypse.
I think he could too. I think he absolutely could. That'd be awesome. He sort of, he gives me Shane Jacobson vibes a little bit. That's true.
Yeah, and in his look,
Yeah, he does. The whole climax scene with him, like in the tunnel,
I thought
it was alright.
I quite liked the tension in that. I thought that was pretty banging.
Oh,
but
right.
only as it built. Once it kind of released and he shot him and they kind of had that little tussle, it kind of went down. But as he's like smacking them in the head from the wall.
Oh, that was dumb. That was
dude,
dumb.
It was dumb, but like I really like that was quality. I was like, damn, this is tense. Like it was stupid, but it was tense.
I didn't like it at all. I do like when they're all creeping around and shit. Like I don't know how he can't just hear them. Like that was sort of weird. But forget about that for a second. Like I like when they were like creeping under the truck and like what's her face? Tumby was like getting in the truck. And I liked all that. But the second he starts like when Martin Freeman hides in the line and he starts whacking them in the head, He's like going one by one as if he can't just tell which one's Martin Freeman. Like, dude, just take a step back and just like, oh, that guy is clearly Martin Freeman right there. Like,
Wait, is
you know
that
what I mean?
why? That's not why I was doing it, though, is it? Isn't that just like a regular thing he'd be doing? Like,
No, he knew he was there. He knew
Yeah,
Martin
he
Freeman
knew
was there.
he knew it was there. That's why I was.
Well, so he's just killing each zombie just to try and get one of them to be Martin.
I think.
I mean, it's two birds with
yeah.
one stone. I mean, like it's.
The idea was that like he knows Martin Freeman's hiding in this lineup, and he's going to go one by one until he gets to him.
That's stupid.
That's dumb. It was dumb. It was dumb.
Don't you, I thought it was about like the kid. I thought it was tense. I was like, all right. I know he's not going to whack him in the head, but I'm here for this.
I'm glad it worked for you. Like for me, for it to be tense, like it needed to make a bit more sense. It was just like why are you doing this, bro? You know, it's like this one I'm whacking right now is clearly a woman. That is clearly not Martin Freeman. So I'm gonna
the thing is, he would have to do it eventually anyway. I mean, like, you know, so might as well just.
But when you're in the fight for your life against the survivor, you're not like, oh, I'll just take a detour here for a second and whack some zombies. It was weird. But I didn't mind the scene when he was like holding the baby, and you didn't know if he was going to give it back to Martin Freeman. Like not that I expected him to like just crush the baby's skull, like, you know what I mean, when he's like holding it. But it was there was a bit of tension there. I was like, oh, is he gonna? And he gave it over. He was nice.
He eats it to the zombies.
Yeah.
That'd have been great.
Oh my god, like touchdown, like freaking piffs it over there. Holy shit. Yeah. So no, I guess he's sort of the film's antagonist. And he was doing that. And he shot his wife. Well, not his wife, his fake. He's hostage. Bit of a difference between those two things, isn't there?
Yeah.
That was sort of weird too, right? I feel like there was a good 2 seconds where she was clearly in the line of sight and he still pulled the trigger. It wasn't like she dived in front or some shit. She just
but had she dived in front, it would have been even worse.
Probably. That's true. But you know what I mean? Though, like the scene just felt weird because it's just like then he was clearly at the end like really upset about that. Like he was upset at Martin Freeman that it's your fault. But it's like, dude, like there was a good 2 seconds where you could have just not shot her.
Maybe because it was dark and he thought he was a better shot than what he is. And he just accidentally
maybe. Yeah.
Just aim drift a bit, you know, it's
yeah. Yeah, that's right. He didn't what is it? He didn't hold the right stick to stop. Yeah. You know when you do that? Yeah. To hold your breath, steady his aim. Yeah. We sort of touched on the Indigenous aspect a little bit, but they did, you know, extensive consulting work with the Indigenous communities. They did some rewrites and stuff to avoid stereotypes. Always appreciate that. I won't read the full thing, but
holy shit, there was 4 babies that played Rosie.
Oh, really? That's funny.
Well, on IMDb, there's 4 different listings for Rosie.
4 people credited as Rosie. I mean, all the close-ups were the same one, though, right? Or the same kid. They did a good job hiding that. I'll give them that. This movie is Australia's first Netflix original feature film. The first Australian theatrical film to be released globally as a Netflix original. So good for us.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like Relic could have done with that. But Stan did that one, so good on you, Stan. I'm never going to shit on Stan. Fitzy, hit me with your final summary here.
I was bored by this movie, and I do not recommend it. And I don't know. It was average, I guess. Yeah.
Cool. I like that. Like Fitzy has his own like final words segment. Like, what are any parting words about the film? And then we get into the boring numbers and shit. Yeah. I'll give it a 4, 5.
4.
4. I was also very bored by the film. I'll give it a 5. Sure. I don't know. Whatever. As the days go by, dude, Fitzy started to convince me I should just ditch scores, to be honest. I don't think I will, but like I'm seeing the argument more and more. What about you, Jad?
I go to a 5 too.
Let's get into news chat. There was a Turning Red trailer. This is Pixar's brand new original film. They've been going all in on original films. They haven't had a sequel since 2019. which I mean doesn't sound that long ago, but I feel like normally we're sort of
It's only 2 years.
traditionally used to getting a Pixar sequel most years. You know, they often had this like 50-50 balance between do original and a sequel, original and a sequel. They've just been on a streak of originals right now, and it's continuing.
That's funny that it lines up kind of with like Endgame. You know, like Endgame is like a long series of
Toy Story
sequels.
4 is the end game. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
But yeah, now it's like originals, Marvel originals, Pixar originals.
That's true. But then, of course, all the Pixar originals going to culminate in I don't know, like Toy Story Super Showdown.
Wreck-It Ralph 3.
Okay, yeah, that's great. That's great. Oh yeah. So the premise of this film is going to be in theaters, by the way, no longer a Disney Plus original thing. And the premise is that a 13-year-old girl turns into a red panda whenever she gets excited. And that sounds absolutely terrific. That is genius. I love that so much. I love red pandas. Whoever chose the red panda as the animal is a genius. Because they're adorable.
So it's a furry movie, right?
Oh no! Why'd you say that?
It's there's nothing.
It's a furry movie. What do you mean?
It's not a furry movie because it's.
Oh my god!
It's literally a furry animal. Like it's a furry
but
movie.
it's because like Zootopia is a furry movie, but this isn't.
I don't know, man.
It's different. I think.
Is the main character a furry animal persona?
She turns into
alternate
a furry.
alternate identity that is a furry animal. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Just accept it, Jane. It's fine.
Alright. Looks like we're not talking about turning.
I'm no longer excited for turning red.
Yeah, no.
Did you see the trailer, Fitzy? I don't.
No.
Jane, tell me about the trailer. What's going down?
I don't know. Not a whole lot. Like she's in school and then her mom's there and then her mom's making her nervous and then her mom gets in a fight and then she gets nervous with the fight and then she turns into a panda.
That's terrific. That's terrific.
And then she runs away because obviously she's a panda in a school, so she can't be there. So.
It's a furry movie. That is the most furry thing possible. That is literally the most furry movie thing possible.
It's gonna be a movie about accepting who you are and all that shit.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. But it's going to be specifically, unfortunately, about accepting that you're a fairy.
Yeah.
It's fine to be a fairy, is what it's going to be. And hey, that's fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That's so funny. But that's totally what it's going to be, and I'm so here for it, dude. Give me cute moments. Give me cute little funny moments with the red panda.
This is a massive red, like it's not like an actual red panda, like it's
like bigger. A huge red panda.
Yeah, no, like
I saw the image.
It's like the size of a room. Like it's
still furry. Yeah,
it's not cute.
If anything, that sort of more supports that it's a fairy movie. Because if she turned into just a real red panda, like a life-size red panda, then I don't know if that counts. Because you're just transforming into an animal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Did you know that the uncle character from Luca last week, you know, that weird fish dude? Do you know that was Sacha Baron Cohen?
We talked about that.
Oh, really?
We didn't say it was Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yeah, we did. I swear we did.
I don't think so. I didn't know that.
No, bullshit. I swear we did.
No,
I don't think we did.
I don't think we did.
I swear we did.
Oh, Jesus. All right.
Go back and listen. Episode. Oh, God.
Someone go back and listen.
It's fine. It doesn't matter.
I swear we did.
Let's talk about the MCU, as I'm sure everyone loves to keep doing.
The MCU?
The Marvel Cinematic Universe. Have you heard of it, Fitzy? I believe it's a product of Marvel Studios.
Oh, superhero movies, yeah.
Superhero movies a little bit here. So interesting, Kevin Feige's been doing the rounds a lot lately. A lot this year in general, because they've obviously been releasing a shitload of stuff. But he was interviewed by Variety, I believe, or one of those publications, and he talked about the fact that the MCU no longer is interested in doing long-term contracts and deals with their actors and stars. The examples he cited, I believe, when I read it, were the fact that they once signed, back in the day, Samuel L. Jackson to 9 movies at once. Same for Robert Downey Jr., you know, all that sort of shit that they do. And I know that for the longest time, that was like the thing 5 years ago or so, where everyone was like trying to count down how many movies Chris Evans has left in his contract to determine when he's going to die and shit like that. Like, but he just said in the interview that's something they're not interested in doing anymore, and that, you know, they'll cast the right people for the right roles, and they want to keep people around on a movie by movie basis based on how enthusiastic they are for their films. Basically, is what he said, and I believe in the interview. I love paraphrasing these news stories, by the way. I think I do an okay job at remembering some of this shit. I believe he cited Florence Pugh as an example of someone who was really enthusiastic and loved being there and was a joy to work with on set and stuff, as an example of, like, you know, someone like that who wants to be here. Why would we feel the need to lock them down for 12 movies and make it an obligation for them? You know what I mean? And then when a time comes where they're not interested anymore, they can do their own thing. So I know it was just a philosophy shift that he was making public.
Remember how I complained about that like last year?
About Florence Pugh getting locked down.
Yeah, and I was like, this is why I don't like, because, you know, it takes away from projects. I mean, like, I guess I can't shit on that anymore, unfortunately. Yeah, because for a long time I feel like a lot of people were just chasing those massive roles because it was just a massive cash bag.
Sure, absolutely.
Sometimes it doesn't work out either, because wasn't like Aaron Taylor Johnson signed onto like a 4 contract deal and he only ended up in 2, and like it wasn't even really 2,
right.
because it was like, you know, the end of Winter Soldier, then like, you know, Age of Ultron, and that was it, you know.
Well, totally. I know, sticking under the Disney umbrella, I know Alden Ehrenreich signed a 3-movie deal to be Han Solo, and obviously I don't see that coming to fruition. So, you know, that sort of thing happens where they, you know, they agree to do X amount of movies, but that can obviously just change depending on what plans are going down there. So, I don't know. Do you think anything of this fits you? I thought it was a transparent thing for him to come out and say, and it was interesting for buffs like us.
I think Marvel is kind of making a lot of interesting choices that people aren't realizing. Like, they're hiring indie directors. They're looking for more inward stories, whereas their stories before were about archetypal figures, they're about superheroes. Now it's more about the, I don't know, you know, normal movie shit themes and stuff, you know.
Sure.
And I don't know, I think it's going to be interesting. I think that, yeah.
The MCU was entering the cinephile stage. Yeah,
they're going to be Criterion.
Yeah.
Criterion.
I think it's interesting for what it spells out for the future of like, because, like, you know, like, I think everyone's been theorizing about the future and, like, you know, who's the next Thanos, what are the next phases going to be like, but I don't think it can be something like that. I think, like, these next few phases of movies are going to have to be completely different, which is odd, because what we've been given so far through Loki and WandaVision, what we know of, like, the next Spider-Man, the next Doctor Strange, it kind of spells out that we're going to have this, like, massive, you know, this like massive story that connects to the films. But, like, if they're shifting to this new, like, this new philosophy of casting and operating, then I don't see how they can do that with 100% confidence.
Sure. How they're compatible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Endgame was so kind of final and, like, huge. So it's like, you can't, like, attempting to redo that kind of thing wouldn't be.
Yeah.
I don't know. People would watch it, but, you know, it might be looked down upon in the future. I don't know. Like, you know, if you have Spider-Man, like, Spider-Man doesn't work as, like, an Iron Man. Oh, he might. I don't know. Maybe in the future, but yeah, who knows?
I get what you're saying. And to your point, Jaden, I think their approach might be, instead of building this, like, long-term, like, 10-year plan again, I don't see them doing that anymore. I see them sort of going a bit more short-term, like, still having lots of crossover and
like
building
4 or 5 year type things.
Maybe even a bit shorter. Like, maybe, like, I know, like, I haven't watched the Loki finale yet, no spoilers, but I think it's pretty evident they're doing something multiverse-wise, right? And I think that obviously totally lines up with everything we know about Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. And I feel like they're sort of following that, where it's like, that is building to something, but that's something that is probably going to be sort of dealt with in the next 2 years. And then we move on to the next and the next, as opposed to, like, a 10-year, you know what I mean?
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Doctor Strange clears it all up.
Sure.
Actually, no.
Maybe.
No, because we recently learned that, like, Doctor Strange is going to be like Elizabeth Olsen said, like, Doctor Strange is going to be really horror driven, so that probably won't be the one to tie it up, but I think that'd be the one that irons out a lot of stuff, but then another one to tie it up.
Sure.
Isn't that like 2 year thing? Do you think that's like more comic book like, you know, like having these kind of
These
like
like
semi
these runs, yeah.
yeah, like runs is interesting, yeah.
That's a great point. That's a great
Yeah.
point. And that would work, you know, with this casting philosophy of like, you know, we're not signing you to 10 movies, but it's like, because we know Florence Pugh's going to be in Hawkeye, right? So it's like one of those things where, oh, you know, be in this movie, and then then you know you agree to do this movie a year later too, and that's sort of enough, you know, to be able to tell their story the way they want to without going for bloody a decade.
Well, maybe they've also just run out of characters they can cast for 10 years. You know, like there's no one worth casting for that long now. It's just, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Let's get into our highlights of the week. Jaden, what have you been watching?
Are you going to keep that little like 2 minute discussion me and Fitzy had at the start in or not? No?
I thought it was sort of cute.
Yeah.
Cute.
If you're going to get, then I'll talk about Silent House then, because I can't talk about Loki because you haven't finished it. Not that I would spoil it
appreciate
for
that.
the audience anyway, but like I don't want to talk about it generally either. It's Silent House is a movie. It's got Elizabeth Olsen in it. I think it's her first role actually. And like it's a remake of the Spanish horror film, and like it's all shot to look like one take. You know, 1917, eat your heart out. This movie did it first. But it's just a shit film. Like it's like technically it's great. Like because like they do a good job of splicing everything together, and like it's like that. But like literally every other aspect is just bad. Like the acting's not great at all, and like it's just visually unappealing, and like the dialogue is just poor, and the story like I don't know, the story is just like they set up kind of interesting things, but like it's just like there's a twist at the end that's just not it's not unobvious, but it's also just not interesting either. I mean, like it's just a bad movie. I don't know. I gave it a 4, which I think is too high actually. It's just, well, did I give it a 5? I don't even know what I gave it, but like it's
whatever it was too.
It's not a good watch. It's not an enjoyable time.
That sucks. I feel like we're all sort of on a bit of a downer, you know? I feel like last week I was on a bit of a downer with what we've been watching, and yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. But believe it or not, Jaden, when, I don't know if you know, in one of these films where they like try and make it one take, look like that, when it cuts to black, when it goes dark, that's a cut.
Yep.
It's pretty wild. You know when 1917 does that?
Yeah.
They tricked you.
What about you, Fitzy?
I'll talk about a documentary I watched. Not very popular documentary. It's called startup.com. It's about these two guys start this startup. Would you believe it?
Wow, yeah.
Yeah. It's in 2001 they started this company called GovWorks, which like the idea was that basically like parking tickets and like I think some elements of like tax like went directly through them instead of like the government, I guess. So they're like a government what do you call it, like constituent, I don't know the word, but like, you know, a government adjacent kind of company that worked with the government. And I don't know, it's about documentary's really cool. It's about these two. It's about their fallout really, because they're like they set themselves up as like co-CEOs of this company. But as you're watching it, you're like, oh, this one guy, which his name is like crazy. I can't really. Khalil, that's his name. Khalil, like is a tourism, like his name's crazy. But Khalil is obviously like the leader, the CEO, and then there's Tom. And throughout the film, you see them clash, and you see like a slow kind of dissolve of their friendship as the business I don't know, grows and takes different directions. It's really fun to watch the business like the amount of employees grow and the building grow, and like it's not like there are people in the film that are, you know, money driven, but this is obviously like their, you can tell it's their baby. They even say that it's like their, you know, they love this idea, they love this company, they love, you know, being in charge and all of that. It's not just about something so simple. And I don't know, it's a great documentary. I watched it on YouTube, but it's very low. It's not like the most amazingly produced documentary, but like it's very well put together for what I assume is a low budget. But I don't know, it's very interesting. It's fun.
Cool.
I mean, not fun, but yeah.
Yeah,
It was sad, I think, and also exciting.
like, what are those VCL cameras? Like those old camcorders? Is that what it's shot on?
Probably. I mean, it looks a bit like that.
I kind of like that.
They have these massive cell phones in 2001. It's crazy. Yeah, it's good time capsule.
Yeah. I found The Sopranos the same way as a good time capsule like that. And they go to like, you know, the payphones and shit. It's like, Jesus. I watched The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey.
Dude, I thought that was a joke because I thought you were saying, just to clear it up. Okay, I thought you watched Cargo and you were logging The Hobbit just as a joke because it's like similar, you know.
So Martin's up in there, yeah.
Yeah. You actually
I did actually watch The Hobbit, believe it or not. And I mean, it's a great movie, you know. It's a really cool movie. I really like it a lot. Dude, Martin Freeman is so good, and I'd actually, I watch Cargo so weirdly. Maybe that's why I'm like all over the place with it, because I watched half of it one night and 2 nights, and then last night finished it, and then watched The Hobbit in the middle night. So I was like, I'm just getting Martin Freeman like messed up in my mind here, but he's so good in that movie, dude. Like, he has so much charisma, and like every line it's like meant to be like comical or like, you know, meant to delve into the aspect of the character that's like doesn't want to, you know, leave home and his comfort foods and all that sort of shit. Like, he delivers that so convincingly. It's really great. Anyway, and the movie looks so good too. Holy shit, it looks amazing. Cinematography there is so good. Absolutely love that.
Yeah, that's good.
And the CG is pretty great too. It's really great.
Do you guys think the sword looks better in The Hobbit or the Lord of the Rings? I think it looks better in The Hobbit.
Oh shit! I don't know.
Like, I didn't pay that much attention to it.
Yeah, I don't know. If
I feel like the glow of the sword in the Hobbit movies is like one of the memorable things for me. I don't know, but like the
in a good way,
are like, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But they have like a darker aesthetic, right? Than the Lord of the Rings. Like, they're like,
it sort of feels that way to me. I get what you're saying. I mean, the film feels way more digital than Lord of the Rings, like all over it, totally. And I don't think it's a bad thing, to be totally honest. I think, you know, I'm not one of these, you know, love me some Tarantino and Nolan. I'm not one of these like CG sucks people by any means, and you need to capture everything in camera. Like, dude, this movie's got CG all over it. Like, all the friggin', you know, that crazy Goblin King and all these set pieces are just all CG. And I think it looks great because it's all mixed with, you know, still great sets in New Zealand, still terrific costume design, and all these other elements that still ground the world appropriately. It's not Attack of the Clones where you literally watch behind the scenes and the actors have nothing, you know, except what they're wearing. There's still other elements there to play with, but then everything else is digitally realized. And I think it looks great in that way, totally. And it does, to your point, it does create a different aesthetic to Lord of the Rings a little bit, I think. When I watch Lord of the Rings, you know, like, obviously, like, you know, all the giant elephants and shit, but like when you the rows and rows of people and the action sequences feel different. Like, they feel, you can tell there's less CG there. Obviously, 2002 or whatever. But anyway, yeah, the movie was sick. I liked it. It's a bit long, you know, but you know, that's Zach's number one criticism. There's like one or two set pieces where I'm like, I don't know if I needed that, especially when, like, I haven't read the book, blasphemy, but I know there's like some set pieces that were literally born from like one sentence in the book. that like forms a 15-minute sequence. I'm like, I don't know if we needed to do that, but yeah, no, I think the movie's really cool, and probably underrated a little bit, to be honest. I feel like it gets the short end of the stick sometimes, and
Really?
I think so. I think people seem to dislike them more. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong place. I don't know, but
fuck.
as always, now we hand the show over to you with our question of the show. Last week we asked you the most random question we've ever asked, probably, but still a terrific question. What is your favourite Henry Cavill performance? Luke said, Henry's best performance has to be in Ebola Homes. I'm sorry, Luke. I'm sorry. Only because I'm too hip and mainstream to say his best performance, which objectively is Superman and The Witcher guy. The Witcher guy? I feel bad, you know? But it's just so, it's like the 11-year-old humour coming at me that he said Ebola Homes, you know?
Ebola
Actually,
jokes in
we
2021.
would have been 12?
How old
or
were
14?
we?
I think
Yeah,
12,
yeah.
13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just in case you didn't know, everyone, the movie's called Enola Holmes. Just in case.
Oh.
Thank you, Luke. And he said, arguably my favourite question of the week on Cinema Effect of all time, hands down. Holy shit. Here's an idea for next week's question of the week. Oh, all right. Hang on, Andy. Let's calm down a little bit here. Is there an actor or actress whose acting performance you have never watched before? Oh, okay, yeah, I get it. Yeah, because he had never seen anything from Henry Cavill before.
Up until last night.
Yeah, right. How to answer this? Search up Henry Cavill on Letterboxd, look at his acting credits, and if it says you've watched 0% of his filmography, you've got your answer. Magic. And no, sorry to disappoint you, Zach, I've not seen The Witcher. Tears rolling down my eyes. Oh, well, there's plenty of time to change that, Andy. That's okay. Anyways, my favourite Henry Cavill performance is obviously The Witcher, guys. Come on. Get out of here with any other answer. Except, actually, no, Mission Impossible Fallout. That's pretty cool.
6.
I said Fallout.
Oh, I thought you said 4.
Oh, sorry. I probably mumbled that a little bit. I had bloody water in my throat. He's so good in The Witcher. The whole thing with the build-up to that Witcher show was obviously I was excited about it, following the news and all that shit. But when he was cast, never in my wildest dreams did I imagine that anyone could bring a live-action performance that rivals Geralt I know from the games, and that model of Geralt and Doug Hockle doing the voice. Like, never did I think like something could actually rival that. The best I was hoping for was, oh yeah, that's a decent substitute. Henry Cavill nailed it, dude. He's there. He's like, there's sort of two different versions of Geralt because in the games he's got an American accent and Henry Cavill does the British accent, which is book accurate. But they're sort of different enough where I sort of view them different as sort of weird variations of a character, which they are. But I don't know if I prefer one over the other. I think Henry Cavill was great. He totally blew me away. He was the best part of the show by far. Like, his line delivery absolutely nailed it. He knew his shit. It was great.
I mean, he's a gamer, so he would have done plenty of research.
He does. He's beat The Witcher 3 multiple times. Even I can't say that. You know what I mean? So he's like, God, he's so great. He's so great. He was bragging about his PC the other day. What a dork, you know?
I still always love the fact that like he almost missed out on Superman because he was playing like Warhammer or some shit.
Some shit.
Warcraft or something like that.
Some nerdy ass shit even I'm not into. Yeah, exactly. What about you, Jaden?
I don't know, because like it's not Superman. Because like I think he's fine as Superman, but like, I don't think he's that great. I haven't seen The Witcher, nor do I care about it. I mean, Mission Impossible is good and all, but like I'm just like, you know, how significant is he to the role? It has to be the Man from U.N.C.L.E. because like his performance is like super campy and like really overacted, but like that's what it's meant to be because like it's based off like the '70s show, and like so like Guy Ritchie was trying to get like kind of emulate that feel as much as he can while modernizing at the same time. And I think Cavill's performance in doing that and like this really like stereotyped accent and like this kind of like really just overacted figure, you know, of like this like kind of, you know, American man, you know, like you know, like secret agent type thing. It's like he plays it really well. I think it has to be that.
Isn't in that movie Army Hammer? Oh, hang on, can I say his name anymore? Army Hammer. Isn't he Russian in the movie? That sounds cool.
Oh wait, hold on. Cool. Is Army Russian or is Henry Cavill? No. Yeah, so Army Hammer.
Oh, it's not the other way around.
Yeah, okay. Army Hammer's Russian.
Dude, I thought we were all gonna say Fallout, dude. He's got the best mustache of all time. Like,
that's true.
It literally ruined the whole movie. The one mustache.
Ruined the movie.
No, I mean, I think it's great in Fallout. I think
I do too.
like his physicality in Fallout is great. I mean, the physicality of everyone in Fallout is great, but like, you know, him in that bathroom scene where he literally like,
Well, he does the
you know, he literally like what do you call it, like reloads his hands like they're guns, you know? Yeah.
and whoever the sound designer was, just God bless you.
Yeah.
So it has the cool sound too. Yeah. I like Solomon Lang too, the other guy in that movie. The really creepy
oh,
dude.
yeah.
He's so intimidating. Oh,
He's
dude,
great.
he's
He's
such
great
a
too.
brilliant villain. Yeah.
There's some great villains in that series, isn't there?
I feel like I'm kind of going off a bit on Hoffman. I think
You going off on him a bit?
a little bit, like in that movie. I think I've gone off on
Sure.
Ray a little bit, not overall.
Well, I think he's great. He just doesn't feature enough. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I always thought
Like I think he's intimidating. Like, dude, when he's on he's on the plane and he's just like, I will, you know, this is he's so confident in his like, you know, I'll destroy you kind of mentality. He doesn't like care, you know. He's great.
All right. As always, we'd love you to submit your questions, thoughts, reviews for next week's film in the YouTube comments section, or send us a DM on Instagram. And the specific question we'll be asking you next week is, what is your favourite zombie movie? Again, could we time these better and have asked that last week? Maybe, but we'll continue not to. That's it for this week's episode of Cinema Effect. I will say, join the Discord. We've got a new Discord server. The link will be in the comments, in the pinned comment on YouTube. So come and join us. We'd love to hang out. I don't know if this resonates with anyone, but I know as someone who's joined like other Discords of other YouTube channels and podcasts and shit I know that can be intimidating, at least for me, to sort of jump in and like, you look in the general chat of these servers and everyone seems to like know each other and like there's a dynamic set and you feel weird like typing anything. You feel like you're invading some other friendship group weirdly. I feel that way anyway. I'm just saying, if anyone feels that for us, don't. I'm more than happy for you just to type whatever you want, whenever you want. We'll be there. We'll love it. Love to.
We're just three wankers sitting in a Discord. I mean, like it's
totally. So don't be afraid of that. Next week's movie, Fitzy. What are we doing?
Another shitty movie Jen recommended.
Dude, I'm so ready to fight for this, and I'm ready to. Oh, dude, I'm so keen. I'm like, dude.
Oh yeah. It's called Slaughterhouse Rules, and it's an Edgar Wright wannabe movie that we're gonna watch. So yeah, let's get into it.
I wouldn't really describe it as that.
I'm just joking. I don't know what it is.
It's produced by Simon Pegg and Nick Frost though. So I mean. Okay. It does have some of those trappings. Dude, I love this movie so much, and I'm ready to fight for it. All
right, everyone. I've got a feeling if there's an episode you want to check out, it's going to be this one. So you got some homework to do. All right. I appreciate you guys talking with me as always. Have a great rest of your week, audience members, listeners, and goodbye.